there was just a huge big gap in the healthcare system. What drew me initially in this space over 20 years ago now was anger at the lack of help given to females at a certain stage in their life, where I really felt that if they were given the right help, so many of their issues possibly solved or fixed, and it just wasn't there at the time.
How did you go from saying, all right, this isn't good enough, to now going creating a product, a service, a business that serves that gap?
Just transformed what I was doing as like a good hobby into a business. For stay-at-home mums that might have like an 8-year-old at home, it can be very isolating. But now she can come to a gym 5 days a week, and on a Monday do reformer and the Tuesday do strength, and her baby can be in the creche and she can go for coffees afterwards, and you can really just support someone through that stage in their life.
When I look at Bump, I've been on all your socials, website, it feels very intentional, the way that you've designed it.
When you've worked on something for so many years, you know where the problems are, what the pain points are, what the solutions might be. So I didn't open Bump overnight and think, oh, let's open a Bump studio and put pregnant women in there.
Franchise is another steep learning curve. Why did you end up going down the franchise model? Welcome to a special episode of Profit Made Simple. Today, I have a great guest, Calum. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So Calum is from Bump. They specialize in women's fitness, specifically pre and postnatal training, just one of the many things that you guys do well. You've got 9 locations open all around Australia. What drew you to this space, mate?
That's a very loaded question, if I'm honest. What drew me initially in this space over kind of 20 years ago now was anger at the lack of help given to females at a certain stage in their life, where I really felt that if they were given the right help, attention, education, they would have had so many of their issues possibly solved or fixed, and it just wasn't there at the time. It's still not completely there now, but that was my driving force, and it's still my driving force, and it's kind of what gets me up in the morning. Yeah.
So you observed this, you were a trainer at the time, and
Correct.
You could see that there was just a huge gap in the market,
Yep.
and females were not getting what they needed or deserved.
Yeah. So my degree was sport and exercise science, which I did back in the UK, probably judging by my accent, you can tell. And then I came to Australia on the Northern Beaches, and I was doing personal training. And within 6 to 12 months, I realized that 90% of my clients were female, in that kind of just had a baby, about to have a baby kind of age bracket. And I just kept on seeing so many issues that were being created or not fixed because there was just a huge big gap in the healthcare system. And it was madness. Even now, like I spoke to a client last week and she'd just had a cesarean 6 weeks ago. And she was like, under no conditions would you go under major surgery and then not be given any rehab plan when you leave that hospital. And that's what happens. They have a cesarean, which is a huge operation, cut through 8 layers of tissue. And then out you go 3 days later, 4 days later, here's your baby.
Just left to your own devices.
Left to your own devices. And she was like, Calum, this is madness. I'm like, it is madness. I've been fighting this for 20 years. Like, and that's not my direct scope, obviously, like Caesar recovery, but building bodies and helping bodies and working on fitness plans to help transitions women through this part of their life was a huge driving force for me. And it still is.
So how did you go from observing this big gap, and you're very passionate about it. I love the passion that's coming out. How did you go from saying, all right, this isn't good enough, to now going creating a product, a service, a business that serves that gap?
I've said this quite a few times to people. I had a really great business and it was going really, really well. I didn't even have a business name. I was just Calum the PT, 40 hours of PT, fitness first, Bao Gala, happy days. And one of my friends was like, I want to introduce you to a business coach. I was like, I don't need a business coach. I'm killing it. It's fine. Like my life's good. He's like, no, just have a business coach. And I was like, all right. I didn't really need one. He was a young business coach at the time. So long story short, I started working with a business coach and he just transformed what I was doing as like a good hobby into a business. Like it was then, right, what did a SWOT analysis? What are you good at? What do you enjoy? What do you like? Where do you want to go? Right, create ABNs, create business names, then it was like, okay, now go deeper into pre and post. Like he and I both like found that there was that gap, undersourced, underhelped. And he was like, right, do every course you can, do every bit of reading you can, network with any professional in the local area that you can, and really just deep dive into that space. So between the two of us over the course of kind of maybe 18 to 2 years, that was kind of literally the only thing I did, from writing courses to delivering courses to every single one of my clients being pre and postnatal. That was kind of where I was at.
And so beforehand, you were training everybody, but a majority of your clients kind of fell into a similar demographic. After this, you now were, I'm the authority on this. I'm now going to specialize in this area.
Correct. Yeah. I think every PT on the gym floor has to do a bit of like fat loss.
Yeah.
Call themselves like an expert. And I think I had a few of those, but I just gravitated more to the kind of the female market where I was, because it was Northern Beaches. And then when he highlighted the fact that that's where you need to double down, I think I remember him going like, "What?" I was like, "I want to be a PT to sports teams," and he was like, "Everyone wants to be PT to a sports team."
Yeah, I think I said the same thing.
Yeah, like you can do that, or do you actually want to make some money and build a career? And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So that was the defining factor. So from then on, it was just like all the new clients were coming to me were in that aspect of their life. But I've been doing that for 20 years now, so been a long time.
And so you went from doing it as a PT to opening up a physical location, which your first location is in D White, still operating today. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, when I look at Bump, I've been on all your socials, website. We obviously got the opportunity to meet only a few months ago. It feels very intentional, the way that you've designed it, like the timetable, the creche, the workshops, the intro offer. Everything is done with an underlying purpose to serve this population well. Can you unpack that a little bit for me?
This is the beauty of experience. I think when you've worked on something for so many years, you can really, where the problems are, what the pain points are, what the solutions might be. So I didn't open Bump overnight and think, let's open a Bump studio and put pregnant women in there. It was 10 years of seeing, okay, this is how we need to program. This is the complete concept of like half of our building is strength and conditioning, half of our building is like reformer Pilates, bar and yoga. So combining those two disciplines. So
that was always the initial concept. It wasn't something that's evolved over time.
That was from day one. We split the studio into two spaces, and we know strength and conditioning is where we need to focus on building the bodies, building the muscle, building the strength that requires the female going through that part of their journey. And then the reformer side was that internal core work, that activation work, that mobility work, that kind of work that's going to really get their pelvic floor and body where it needs to be for this stage in their journey. And that was just the exercise part.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, cool, exercise is one thing, but having been a parent myself, I've got 2 young girls, you see the emotional and the how hard it is to get to the gym. Like you could have the best fitness class in the world, but if you're a stay-at-home mum with a dad that works in the city 10 hours a week, you just can't get there. So creating a space that was then where they felt really safe and really comfortable to put their babies or their toddlers with us. So we split the room. So we were like, okay, we've got 6-week-old babies, but they don't want to be next to a 3-year-old toddler. How can we separate? So we separated those spaces to really make sure those new mums felt safe, looked after, and they didn't need to worry that they were in a fitness class because we were looking after their babies. So we kind of just tried to think of every single thing that we could think of and just kind of put it into one building. That was a long answer.
No, it's an incredible answer, because you look at just the programming side itself, you really would have been a pioneer at that particular time. I mean, right now you have a look at the 2 biggest modalities that are popular. It's strength training and it's reformer. A decade ago, you've got one space split into, here's our strength, here's our reformer. Second part is it's not just creche over in the corner. It's very well conceptualized. All right, there's kids of different age and we're going to have specific zones for them. So the mums can feel comfortable, they can feel confident when they come into the space itself to have some time for them.
It's everything. Yeah, like it's a 360 approach to making sure they're physically and emotionally ready for that kind of part of their life. And at the time, there was nothing like it. Even now, I would kind of say there isn't much like what we offer.
I haven't seen anything. And I'm an industry dinosaur. I've been in it a couple of decades like yourself. And I do not know a physical location that has been engineered to go and serve women at this particular stage of life the way that you've done so.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like that's, again, another example of women being underserviced, underlooked after, And it's really shit that it has to be a man that kind of pioneers that. And I'm sure there's some incredible women pioneering it as well. But something that really kind of grinded my gears at the time. And it's something I still really want to solve the problem. And I think becoming a parent really makes it obvious that you're doing something for families and making that time in someone's life just a little bit easier. It's tough. You've got kids, yeah?
Yeah, got 3 kids. And it's a really challenging period. And I think one of the things that I love is it's more than a gym, isn't it? It's more than just, hey, let's come and do the exercise program itself. When I look, I can see that you're very inspired to provide community, a safe haven, connection, education under one roof.
This is it. It's for stay-at-home mums that might have like an 8-year-old at home, it can be very isolating, extremely tough, a long 24 hours. And then all of a sudden there's 250 women in exactly the same boat as her. And yes, she might have a mother's group that she catches up with once a week to have coffees with. But now she can come to a gym 5 days a week and on a Monday do reformer and the Tuesday do strength, and her baby can be in the creche and she can go for coffees afterwards. And you can really just support someone through that stage in their life, which is great.
It's incredible. Now, that's quite an evolution for you. You've gone from a trainer doing 40 hours a week. You've now created a concept that's never been seen before in the country itself. How did you need to evolve as a business operator, going from the trainer that takes 40 sessions a week to conceptualizing and then bringing to life the first bump?
I think you've got to fill in the gaps of the stuff you don't do very well. And I still struggle with that. Like, I love people. I love helping people. I love teaching people for all aspects. I detest sitting in front of a computer for longer than 60 minutes. And we had to, certainly when we went to a franchise level, every single thing that was in my brain or in Bump's like kind of blueprint had to be systemized, had to be documented, had to be like, literally we had to create a whole recipe.
And that's not your jam?
That is not my jam, no. So then it was finding people that could do that felt as passionate as I do about kind of servicing this area.
What were some of the early lessons that you had when you're opening DY? What were some of the kind of big ahas you learned about yourself and business?
I don't know if it's about business, but I still remember the first thing we learned very quickly is like we had a full-time receptionist when we opened. And she was just bleeding us dry, not because of her, but it was just a waste of money. We probably spent $40,000 on her over the first 5 to 6 months. And yes, it was great to have someone at front desk for the 2 people that walk in at a time. And it was just like, you make those mistakes. We don't make them now. Like, that's it. We've made so many mistakes. And we were open 5 years before we franchised to see what worked, what didn't work. And we kind of learned the lessons, and we mainly just by losing lots of money. But you kind of get a feel for what is needed in a business, what makes it drive, what you need to do as a business owner to make it kind of make money. And then even if you know how to do it, it's even harder than to teach it, which is the thing I still need to learn myself.
Yeah. And so I'm interested in your role, because the role has gone through multiple evolutions. You've gone from the trainer to the studio owner. And the big lesson there was find people that are really good at the stuff that you're not so good at.
Yeah.
All right. So surround yourself with those people. You identified pretty early on, I'm really good meeting people, connecting, collaborating. I'm good at educating. I might not be good at so much of the systemization and the processes. Let's get some of those people.
Yeah.
Now you've gone from single location owner to franchisor. You're looking after 9 different business owners. How have you had to evolve from that?
I think it's learning the different types of personalities that might run these businesses and what is going to make them tick more. And then realizing not everyone's the same as myself. And I think you always coach assuming someone is the same as yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
we come from that bias. Yeah. Absolutely we do. It's like, well, this worked for me, so it's going to work for you.
This is it. And we even like 3 months ago, we did like some sales training and we did a disc profile, and I found out my profile and it was exactly what I would have predicted for myself. But then all of the other franchisees had very different discs. And I was like, oh shit, I've got to stop treating you like I would want information delivered to myself.
Yes.
And I think the biggest learning curve is, right, we know the concept works. We know how to do sales calls. We know how to chase up leads. We know how to convert people. But business isn't easy.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not.
No.
And there's going to be gaps in everyone's arsenal. So some people might be good at systems, but hate making sales calls. Other people might be great at making sales calls, but hate doing the systems. And as a business owner, you kind of need to wear all the hats, certainly in the build phase. And most of our franchisees are still in that kind of build phase of wearing all the hats. And okay, when you can give something up, what's it going to be? Some people might go, hate the social media. Got to give away that. Hate it. Not going to stand in front of camera. Worst thing in the world. Okay, cool. We'll get to this amount of members and then we'll give that to someone else. Or I hate teaching classes. Like we do like our owners in a way to kind of teach classes because it gives you an appreciation of how hard the classes are and it gets you that touch point with the members. But some people are like, I just don't want to teach classes anymore. Okay, cool. Get to this amount of members and then don't teach classes. Like I think it's initially you have to wear every hat. And the goal is eventually is just to wear the hats you enjoy, what motivates you, and ultimately what will make money in an ideal world.
And I think what's really key there that you've uncovered is some people are going to like certain hats more. And so that's where there's got to be flexibility and personalization around the leadership, around the coaching of them to go, okay, well, if that's not your strength, then this is how we can work to get to that point. It's not a one size fits all for every one of the 9 locations that you're in charge of.
100%. Some people get flustered by other things and other people's don't. One thing that I don't do at DY is I do not do cancellations because it just derails my whole day. I know it just doesn't matter how many members I've got. If I get a cancellation, for whatever reason, Calum, I'm moving to Uganda. I'm annoyed. It doesn't matter.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm 20 years in business and a cancellation still hurts me as much today as it did 20 years ago. And I'm the same. I've actually taken myself out of cancel calls. I used to do all the exit calls because I care a lot. And so I lose someone from my community that I care about. And I care for that person. I know that they're much better in our community than out of it. And so it's still like a little knife in the heart.
Yeah, it hurts. Like you take it personally.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what your service is or who you are. But yeah, so that's a job I'm like, okay, that is, because that affects my headspace.
Yeah.
If my headspace isn't good, then it's not worth it. But yeah, so you learn what kind of motivates you and you learn then kind of what can demotivate you and you kind of position yourself in that space.
One of the things that's been really clear is that you have built this on a foundation of incredible education. So we're going to make sure that every coach, all the programming, it's going to have a validation. It's going to be really seeded in great research, great concepts. The standard of the coach is going to be very high, so much so that you produced your own educational course, didn't you?
I think I did, yes. And I think to do what we need to do to the scale we want to do it, we have to be seen as experts. And I think, again, I don't think anyone else is really doing it on scale or in lots of clubs, but like we need every person that walks into any of our clubs to be like, these guys know their stuff. And it's not like Bob's gym down the road that just said, don't do star jumps. It's these guys understand my body, understand where I am, whether that's pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy, perimenopause. We need to be seen as the next level up. And that you can only do that with education. You don't come out of any fitness course nowadays with anything other than just generic advice on training.
No, it really is the difference between a generalist and a specialist, right?
Exactly.
So when I go to Bump, they are the specialists. They know exactly how my body feels, what it's going through. They understand the contraindications. They understand what type of programming I should be doing at different stages. You just understand it in a lot more depth.
Exactly. And we can lean on other professionals in our space.
Yeah.
So we get women's health physios to come in and talk to the trainers, talk to the members. We get pregnancy nutritionists to come in and do the same. We know our audience so much. Like there's no advertising to 50-year-old Bob. There is 25 to 55-year-old females. We know who's going to be walking in our gym, so we can program for them, we can educate from them, and we can just make sure we can get more and more kind of a service for this person.
And it really does help. I mean, my first studio, I had an honors degree in human movement, and then my whole team pretty much had either an exercise science or exercise physiology degree, right? Or they were accredited. And when we started to have the conversations with other allied health practitioners, and we had that background, and then we went deep into getting rehab specialists to train us and coach us, it just opened the door that much easier as well. Have you found that?
It does. And I never want to put down just being a PT, because just being a TT is really bloody hard. And if you survive in the PT world,
it's incredible.
Hard. But I have had the luxury of dropping a few stupid letters at the end of my name, and it can make an email.
Probably not even so much the letters, but just the fact that the team itself they're invested beyond just, being a generalist, that they're going to great lengths to go and go, you know what, I'm going to specialize in this area, and I know I can speak the language. I understand it a lot better, and I think that in itself opens the doors.
It does. And then couple that with a passion, and I think you're home free, to be honest with you, and that is our kind of business model in general. If I was to open up a new gym in Adelaide tomorrow, the first few weeks would just be get out to speak to every single kind of women's health provider in your area, let them know you are coming, and let them know that this is going to be the best place to send all of their females at this stage of their life, because a lot of them don't know where to send them. And then we can be that gap, because we know there's gaps everywhere, but there's nowhere to go.
So you created your own CEC accredited course, is that correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And was the vision of that to equip more coaches Australia and maybe beyond Australia wide with the skills that you identified as lacking? Or was the vision for that to have everyone at Bump at this same high standard?
Great question. So the course came before Bump.
Okay.
It came from I'm one person helping 20 women. How about I try and help 1,000 trainers helping 20 women? So it was a play to just kind of get the education in front of the right people.
The ripple effect.
The ripple effect. So it was after I wrote my kind of ebook. And then after that, I was like, okay, I was kind of in that space of at that time I seemed to be able to sit down and write, which is something I struggle to do now. And after I did the book, then I was like, okay, well, now I can write a course. I felt confident enough. I had enough information. I had done enough. I felt like I'd kind of earned the stripes and the right to put a course together, so I could stand in front of 30 people and say it with confidence. And then I traveled Australia, every kind of city in Australia, just teaching lots of trainers how to do it. And then once we opened Bump, obviously, we've got a ready-made solution that every trainer that comes in our doors will be doing this course to upskill them to a level where they can deliver our classes.
Is that still part of the business now?
100%.
Course delivery?
Yeah, and it's something we're growing. I'm working on rewind a little bit. So we've been 7 years old, and we've had members that have been with us for 7 years, and now they're all walking into another stage in their life, which is kind of that perimenopause, postmenopause kind of stage. So I've, for the last couple of years, been doing a lot more study and research into that topic. And at the moment, I'm working on a new CEC course that will be covering the perimenopause space, giving trainers the knowledge to work with that cohort.
Fantastic. So education, being an educator, both within and outside Bump, is still very important to you.
Huge. Yeah. And I think when we know we're going to have lots of kind of perinatal women through our doors, I also want to make sure my trainers are very much clued up in what's happening with the female body, what's happening with our hormones, what we need to be aware of, because that space is growing exponentially as well, which is fantastic, because women aren't terrified of lifting a weight, and now they know it's good for them. So it's about, okay, cool, let's combine the two. Why are they doing it? How to do it? And then kind of give them the confidence.
Well, I want to circle back to that in terms of future evolutions. I want to understand when you had proof of concept. So you've got 9 spaces now, but in that first one, when did you know that you had a concept that was bigger than DY?
We started slow. We did everything wrong. I remember we opened the doors with no members.
Launch.
We had a hard launch. We had about 120 people through the door. No name
offer.
Collection, no offer, no.
Oh, wow. Well, I asked mistakes before. Yeah, there we go.
That's what I mean. And it took a while. You make mistakes like that. The newest club we've got opened up in Mitcham is going to be hitting over 100 members, which takes a lot of the pressure off when you know you've got 100 people walking through.
Yeah, absolutely. You're almost at break even when the doors
we had none. And that was just amateur mistakes. It was just did you collect their details? No, but a really good chat. She seemed really confident.
Yeah, she was lovely.
She was lovely, yeah. How are you going to contact her?
No idea.
And that is, it's rookie, real rookie. But we weren't equipped. Like we were PTs and one-on-ones and then going into like a big box.
It's like a big adjustment, huge adjustment.
Yeah, and you need a lot of kind of weapons to take on that beast. So we made some mistakes. We lost a lot of money. And I think if long story short, probably around a year mark, we might have been closer to the 200 member mark. And I think at that point, we're like, okay, it might work. I didn't even have my baby. So my first child was 3 years old. So we wanted a 3-year age gap. I'm going very personally. I do apologize. And we were thinking about trying for another baby. And then I was like, I was going to be opening Bump. And I was like, I don't want to risk you being pregnant to my wife and then Bump just completely flopping. Like it wasn't completely unproven kind of concept. And so it was probably closer to 6 months because then after 6 months, I was like, okay, there's proof of life here. We are getting enough leads throughout the door. We might not be amazing at closing them, but the numbers started to build, the timetable started to build. So I think probably around 6 months, there was a proof that it would work.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a year and a half was like, oh, we can replicate this. Like there's pregnant women all over the world. It's like...
Did you say though it was 5 years before you'd been doing it for 5 years before you franchised?
Yeah, DY was coming on to 8 years now, I think. So we franchised 3 years ago. So it would have been 5 years.
Okay, so it was whilst you had early proof of concept because people were enrolling despite your just lack of experience in studio ownership, it was still filling up. It was still building. It took a while between seeing that and then pressing go on franchise.
We did open up another studio at around the 3 year mark to prove, because everyone said you can't franchise with one. Ideally you have three. So we opened up another one in Central Coast at the 3 year mark just to prove that we could do it in two different locations.
Yeah, very different locations.
Yeah. So we had the two gyms that were working and then we're like, okay, now we can franchise.
Yeah. Okay. And what have you learned? I mean, franchise is another steep learning curve, franchising a concept. What drove you to franchising as opposed to you owning all of them or, maybe licensing the Bump education where people could plug it into their business? Why did you end up going down the franchise model?
Because no one said the licensing idea. That would have been clever. We were never going to help as many women as we could just by opening one gym at a time. That was my main personal mission statement is obviously to help as many females as I can within Australia. Doing it that way was just going to take too long. So to build on scale, bearing in mind now we've got, I don't know, let's just say 3,000, 4,000 women going through Bump doors every day. It was the quickest way to get there. And if we can get to 50 gyms, then how many women is that going to be that we can kind of service? So it was purely just a scale play to help as more women out as possible.
Yeah, okay. So this could expedite the realization of our vision. Our vision is impact. How can we have as much impact? Let's franchise.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned in the franchise space?
Just having a good concept doesn't always mean it's going to work.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a few people about this. Like you can have an amazing concept, but if it's not executed the way you would want it, it's not necessarily always going to work. I've learned that location is critical. And I think location is a real important part of the puzzle. Like we now know where these bumps might not work moving forward. So we've got a better idea of our territories.
I want to ask you on that. I want to pull a couple of threads on that. So when you say location, it could mean a whole bunch of things, right? It could be in the suburb and knowing the demographic data and is there going to be enough of our catchment for these women?
Yep.
Or it can be the actual location. Is it ground floor? Is it second floor? Is it main road? Is it industrial? Is it 200 square meters? Is it 500 square meters? So what are some of the things that you've learned about location?
If we just go for the bricks and mortar side of things, we've been proven by our franchisees that what I had in my head actually isn't true. So I was always, you have to be ground level. Two of our most successful clubs now are on
not
second.
Ground level.
Yeah. So I was like, oh wow. So mums will get in a lift. Like some of them you have to drive to, you can't walk to. They're out in my head, DY, everyone walks to my club. So it has to be within walking distance. Again, proven wrong. So you do learn a lot and you build up these stories in your head of what you need. And that's why it's always good to have a team to kind of be like, well, actually, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, challenge
I've been
those
wrong.
Assumptions.
Yeah. I've learned a lot about floor space, but for us, we need somewhere that's minimum 300 meters.
Okay.
Realistically, 450 is max. They're big footprints.
They
don't need to be like in a Westfield mall because we're experts. People will seek us out. People will travel for us. So we can be tucked away a little bit. We can have a little bit of less expenditure on rent because we need bigger spaces. But what we've found, what we know now is we're still kind of a premium product, and you can't open a premium product everywhere in Australia. In an ideal world, you need some level of affluence. So we've done the territory maps. We know exactly where we want the next kind of 10 bumps to go or can go. And I think that's our goal now, is to be like kind of more selectively pick where we think, yes, this is a no-brainer. And we've got the maps, so we know it works, but that's what we're learning as we're going.
Yeah, it's a great insight. Just because it's an amazing business concept doesn't mean that it's going to work anywhere. And location is just, it's so understated and so undervalued, I think, overall.
Yeah, and I think it's really easy to knee-jerk it and get excited and go, oh, I found a space that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's 3 suburbs away from where I wanted. And you're like, I think we would have probably previously went, yeah, go for it. Like, that sounds great. But now it's like, no, we wait.
Yeah. It might take us 12 months, but we're going to have the right location.
Yeah, this Mitcham club, we signed DA 9 months ago, and it's been a 9-month process, which is long. There was no DA, and there's government approvals, and there's OC checks. And yeah, we're opening this month. So it's like, okay, cool. It's a long process, and you have to be patient, but
you'll get it
make
right.
their life
at least you'll maximize
easier.
the chances of getting it right.
Yeah, that's it.
You talked about the evolution of the product. So initially, it was very much centered around pre and postnatal training in the earlier iterations.
Yeah.
And now you're introducing perimenopause, menopause, specific education programming, workshops, and now catering to that market as well. What's been behind that evolution? Is it just seeing members in your club kind of go through that life stage? Has it been something that you're particularly passionate about, making sure that these women are heard and looked after?
Probably a bit of everything, but yeah, like it's my own evolution because I'm 43 now. So I'm getting a bit older, and I'm seeing friends and family members and wives kind of get into that stage in their life as well. And again, being like, this isn't serviced very well either. Like, why aren't women doing much strength training? And why are they not getting, again, the information they need? So definitely part of that. And then also you're having members for 7 years and like not wanting to lose them. And this is, I think we're very fortunate in a bump is we have the strength component. So, and that's a huge, huge, huge element of what women need to do in this life. If we were just a reformer studio, we won't have the equipment to really service this section, but we've got it there.
It's a natural extension.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it's like brilliant. Now we can and we're just going to help women through all their different bumps in life and give them the right help they need.
That's fantastic. What is the greatest business lesson that you've learned over 2 decades? You've worn so many different hats. You've talked already. You've shared so much wisdom in terms of delegating your weaknesses and surrounding yourself with great people. Is there anything else you can share with us, Calum, that the viewers, the listeners will take a lot of wisdom from?
You're going to love this because I think this is what you do. But like, I've had a PT my whole life, and my clients have always like, why have you got a PT? You're a PT. And I'm like, because I'm lazy, yo. Like, I do not lift. You see, my PT looks like Hercules. Like, he is an incredibly muscular human. And I always want to look like him, but no, I never will because, I'm not going to put the work in. But I think that is my personality. I think it's most people's personality is like, we need accountability.
We do.
We need accountability, whether it's for training or whether it's nutrition. And for me, you need accountability for business. And I will be an ideas person that will not execute. And I need someone breathing down my neck just to be like, did you do A? Did you do B? Why didn't you do A, Calum? So the biggest piece of advice is get someone that can make you accountable, whether that's a business coach, whether that's a mentor, whether that's someone in the industry that you respect that's willing to spend the time with you. But without that, I think I would be lost. And I think it would help so many people to be kind of just, I need help. There's nothing wrong with saying you need help. Like, I do not know everything. And I'm great at pre and postnatal. I'm learning peri. There are millions of better business people than me in the world. There's billions of better people how to build a franchise than me. And I'm trying to surround myself with those people all the time.
Yeah, it's a great piece of advice. I mean, I always say if you're only ever accountable to yourself, even if you're the most self-disciplined person, you will take the path of least resistance at times. But if you're accountable to someone you don't want to disappoint, it is one of the most effective ways of shifting human behavior and getting more done.
No, 100%. Yeah, agreed.
Question I love to ask all our guests is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given or received?
I think I've married an incredible human being. And I think choosing the right life partner makes ultimately life just so much sweeter and so much easier. So having someone that's always in your corner through the ups and the downs, and as business, you would know, like you ride those roller coasters way bigger than the average person that's picking up PAYG, that you're not going to be rock solid. So for me, I was very lucky and fortunate that I've managed to find someone to kind of be in my corner no matter what, to ride the highs, ride the lows. And yes, that might not be great advice, but yeah, pick your life partner.
No, I think it's very, very sound advice, because we are not easy to deal with when we own our own businesses. And we need people that are rock solid beside us, that can ride the roller coaster and can be steadfast, can be just rocks when we need them most.
Yeah. Divorce rates might go through the roof after this podcast, but
I think they might.
I apologize. yeah. I've heard of Tinder might be quite good as well.
Now, there's going to be people that want to get to know you, your courses, and bump a little bit better off the back of today's episode. How can they do so?
I really don't build a personal brand, which I should, because I only really post on LinkedIn, but my Bump Health and Fitness Instagram is kind of where I will put most of my content on. And then like health.com.au is the website that has what Bump's all around, what territory, like if you were ever interested in buying a franchise, it has the process of kind of what that looks like. And it gets you an idea of kind of where the Bumps are across Australia right now. So just the website and Instagram.
Fantastic.
Really.
Well, I want to thank you very much. Thank you for sharing with our audience your journey, Bump. I think it's just an incredible concept. It's very unique. A lot of people are scared to niche down, go all in on one particular population type, but you've proven how successful that can be. You've got an incredible, big, powerful vision, and I'm looking forward to seeing you make progress and realize that vision as well.
Beautiful. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Profit Made Simple. If you got value from today, you know what to do. Give us a like, subscribe, or comment, and share it with someone else that may get value. Thank you so much.